has taken over some of our primary development lead role. So we have both of us on here. Alex, I can let you kind of introduce yourself too.
Yeah, hey everybody. I am one of the lead developers here that work with Camp Masters. Been working with them for about a couple years. We have a lot of different features that we have introduced this year, and we're excited to share with everybody. With that being said, let's get started. I think the first thing I would like to show would be the Scout Leaderboard. It is something that will be kind of a cool competition amongst all the scouts. So when a scout would sign in to their profile, they go to the dashboard, and if you scroll, excuse me, if you scroll down, you'll see the new leaderboard widget that we have. We separated it out for a global leaderboard and additionally for councils as well. So it can be a competition between your own council or with the all the users within the Camp Master system. Um, I think that's going to really drive competition amongst the scouts themselves, and kind of excited to see how everyone likes it as the season goes on. The main meat and potatoes of the training seminar is going to be revolving around our unit inventory and the storefronts. Let's go ahead and just kind of explore what storefronts and storefront availabilities are and how they actually tie together. So we'll start with the storefront availabilities, and to just kind of give a general overview of this, the storefront availabilities are made, or the intention of these storefront availabilities are for councils to create locations and create availabilities for units to be able to take to create storefront events. You can think of them as a precursor to storefront events, and you can rinse and repeat and use them over and over. It's just a quick, streamlined way to actually get the storefronts up and running. So to get to them, you probably saw me navigate on the left-hand side to storefront availability, and then you will see all the storefront availabilities that are scoped directly to your council. We're seeing multiple in here because I'm an admin user on here, but just note when you sign in, you'll only see the storefront availabilities that are scoped or applicable to your council. To add a storefront availability, we're just going to click on the plus symbol up here, and then we're going to be taken to another page. There's going to be some stuff you need to fill in, and some of it we already kind of filled in for you. The drive itself, you want to make sure you're in the correct drive. Going to the fall season, the 2025 fall popcorn sale is going to be more than likely the drive that you're going to have to select. Your council below will be automatically pre-filled with the council that you belong to. And additionally, we have a copy from existing location. So I can jump over to that after I roll through the rest of this, just to kind of show everyone a quick overview of that. Just know that you can set up a template to copy from into the storefront availability. Next, we actually have the location. That is going to just be where the storefront would hypothetically take place. And we actually integrated with Google Maps on here to do geolocation. That really long technical word basically means that when you actually start typing in the location of the place that you want to have a storefront, it's going to bring up different places that are closest to you that fit the name. We highly, highly recommend to let you or let the system do the typing on here. The autofill is spot on every single time, and it kind of eliminates all the potentiality for typos. Additionally, you can put in contact information, so like whoever you spoke with at that location when you're setting up the storefront itself, their phone number, obviously, email address, and then available for unit sign up date. So this one's pretty important. So the idea with this is, let's say the council will go in there and they will create the storefront availability, but they don't want that to immediately be released for units to be able to choose from. Well, they can go into this field here and they can essentially say, hey, I don't want any units to be able to see this storefront until, let's say, July 18th. But for the sake of the demo, I'm going to just do today's date. Just know if you put the date in here, the storefront availability will not be visible to the units until that date specified on here. Below that is going to be the date. That's just going to be the day that you're going to actually do the storefront itself. So let's say that's August 8th, 2025. And then any notes that would be applicable to the availability or storefront itself. So like an instance like used or number 2. So once you fill out all the information, just review it, make sure everything looks good, and then you can just go ahead and click save. So once you click save, the page will refresh, and you probably noticed we had 2 extra things pop up here. Delete, it's kind of self-describing. If you want to delete it, just click that, or sign up unit. So the sign up unit is pretty handy. So let's say you want to unit 1, 2, 3, once you want them to be at that storefront location. Maybe they are one of the strongest selling units in your council. Well, if you click on here, it will take you to another page, and I won't go too deep into this because this is more so getting into the storefronts itself, but just know you can assign a unit specifically from this page. And then after filling out the information or selecting the unit that you want, you would click save. And upon clicking save, I actually will just step through that just for the sake of showing everybody. You'll see that this comes up on the screen saying reserved from storefront availability, and if you click on that, it goes back to the availability that we had created previously. And it goes both ways. So if you're looking at availability and you're wondering, oh, okay, this was reserved by troop 231, click on that. It will take you right to the main storefront page. Do we have any questions regarding storefront availability so
I
far?
think the most part, we just need to look at it from the unit perspective because this mainly is just for units. So, I think that, so if they need to set one up, it's a similar process knowing that. But, the difference is they're not going to assign a unit. If they set it up in their dashboard, it's just going to be for them.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head with that. So a lot of that functionality is kind of not applicable then to units, but just know that as a unit leader, you can go in there and you can take an availability or create one and basically sign up your unit for it. Moving on to storefronts. So they're very similar to storefront availabilities as far as the actual workflow is concerned. This is going to be more applicable to the unit leaders anyways. And upon clicking on the storefront menu item, it will take you to the storefront list similar to storefront availabilities, and we'll go ahead and just create or add a storefront. Just like the storefront availabilities, you'll see that the majority of the information is going to be about the same on here. So again, just stepping through real quick on this.
Hey, Alex, can you go back to the dashboard real fast? I just kind of want to show
Sure.
what this looks like. So yeah, you're on the 2025 drive. Can you minimize this first dashboard, because this is a council dashboard?
Sure.
Okay, so here we're looking at the unit dashboard, and this is what we want to show. So there's a section or a link down there called storefronts, and if you click available storefronts, yeah, this is where unit leaders need to know where to go to find these. And yeah, I just wanted to show how to get there.
Because this is mainly where they're going to go to sign up. I mean,
Yeah, that's the process. Like it's like 2 clicks. You find the storefronts and the dates you want, and you're there. And then you hit sign up, and then you'll be back on the screen Alex is about to explain to you.
Yeah. So jumping back over then to the storefronts, I kind of just want to walk through setting this up real quick for them just so they could see if they wanted to set it up themselves. Again, let me just fill this out real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I did one earlier today. I put in my church, right? Because I want to do a show and sell at my church, and nobody else is going to be doing it at my church. I know that, so I wanted to be able to set that up and be able to give credit to the scouts that are selling at my church. So,
yep, yeah. So either way, like the way Alex just did it, where a unit creates their own, or you take one of those availabilities, this is the screen you're going to end up on And Alex is gonna go walk us through that.
Yeah, so once you either sign up your unit by the storefront availabilities or stepping through it by creating your own storefront event, you'll eventually, or you will get to the storefront dashboard as we're seeing here. There's a few things on here to keep in mind. The storefront information is kind of what we just filled out, so nothing's really changed there. We have shifts, scout credit mode, storefront inventory, storefront material, and manual storefront order. I want to start initially with the shifts themselves because obviously your scouts in your unit are going to have to be signed up for it. So we have to create a couple different shifts. So let's say here you have to enter a start and end time on this. So let's say the scouts will start at 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. You can specify a max amount of scouts per shift. So let's say you'd only want 5 scouts total to be available to be able to work this. You would just specify how many total scouts here. On the flip side, if you don't care about how many scouts are going to be participating per shift, you can just leave this field blank. And just for the purpose of stepping through this, we're going to specify a start and end time for a second shift on here. So we'll do 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then this one, we're going to put 3 for the max scouts. After you fill out the start, end, and max scouts on here, you go ahead and click on Save Changes on this. And then you'll be able to click on these little 3 people blue icon to the right of max scouts. Upon clicking on that, it's going to have a pop-up menu appear, and you'll be able to sign up the scouts as you see fit from here on out. So for this one, hypothetically, we're going to have 4 people on here. And then for this one here, we'll do the top 3 scouts just for time's sake. And now those scouts are signed up for the shifts. And if you click on the drop-down arrow on the left-hand side, it'll actually show you who signed up, their email, and if they have a phone number on file, you'll additionally be able to see that. It's just a quick little overview. And the really important part about this is to actually send the scout invites. So when you click on send scout invites, you will be given a opportunity to put in a message. Maybe it's the notes again, use door 2. It really could be anything. It's just whatever you want to tell the scouts about the shift that they're going to be, the shift they're about to be working. You would put that in there. Upon clicking OK, everyone that is currently signed up to work that storefront will receive an email and just with the information for the shift that they're signed up for, and just to kind of give them a heads up. Jason or Nathan, is there any other aspects of this?
What if I decided we're not going to do this storefront at this point after I got everything set up?
You mean directly with the shifts?
No, I mean, our unit can't do it. We can't do it now. We picked this storefront and we can't do it.
Yeah. So
the unit. Yeah. I was just answering this in the Q&A to Kimberly. Literally just sending it. The council, the unit would have to contact the council to switch it over if they wanted to hand it over to a different unit, but it can be switched. You do need to delete those shifts then and recreate them for that new unit, or the new, whatever the gaining unit is, would need to send out those invites to get their scouts on board with it if they wanted to use that shift system.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then also for real quick, if you didn't select any scouts and you just wanted to go ahead and talk about that briefly.
Yeah, Alex, could you show well, I think you already did it here, but if the unit leader wants to, okay, so you obviously have the different scout credit modes. If you don't want to assign any shifts or assign any scouts, if I'm understanding that correctly, you could just do evenly across the unit, or you could do a manual credit mode. And then there will be options like you can see up at the top. And Alex, if you could just point out the credit tab, that is a way to handle that. If you don't want to just actually like invite the scouts and have all that extra overhead.
Well,
So
what I was saying is that you can invite scouts to sign up for the shifts versus actually assigning the shifts to these scouts.
oh yeah. Sorry. So Alex, is as you set up those shifts, I know you manually assign the scouts into them. There's that send scout invites button. So once you have all the shifts entered, if you don't actually have scouts in there yet, and you just want them to do it on their own, uh, you just hit that send scout invite button up
Can you
there.
delete those scouts that you invited and then maybe look at it from the scout perspective so they can see what it looks like from a scout perspective?
Yep.
The shifts that are available on the scout dashboard. We
Yeah,
don't have to do it right this
hit that, Alex, and
second.
we can jump over from our development email.
Before we do that, you can go ahead and send the email, send the invite, but we'll stay on this page and finish out the QR code down at the bottom. And
Okay. Yeah, while that email goes through, yeah, that's a good
yeah,
idea.
well,
Yeah, so the storefront material at the bottom right hand side, we have two things here. We have the storefront QR code for customer self checkout, the credit card only, and it does mean credit card only. So basically, let's say you're at a storefront and someone walks up and they want a quick way to be able to check out. You could print this QR code off and you could just have that at your booth. It's just a quick way to get people through the line and just to be able to capture sales. We've had a lot of units with a lot of success with it, just from time is money type of thing, right? So people don't want to be standing up there for 15-20 minutes. They just want to go up, bada bing bada boom, scan the QR code and be on their way. Just be aware that it is credit card only, and this QR code itself, you can't reuse them. Like, this QR code only works for the storefront. So just keep that in mind. So you'll have to print out a QR code for every single storefront event that you're going to be doing. Additionally, to the right of that, we have the print scout schedule. This is a new button that we have this year. So upon clicking that, what's going to end up happening is it's going to print out a scout roster. So you'll have the name, the location, your unit number, the date, and then the shifts, and then the scouts that would have signed up. And then you can just go ahead and print that out. It's more so of a bookkeeping thing, but we received some feedback that it might be a nice thing for the unit leaders to have. So we went ahead and added that this year to it. Finally, we have the manual storefront orders. So if, let's say, someone comes up to your storefront and they buy a caramel popcorn bag and someone forgot to check that customer out, and maybe they just made a note of it, you can just go in here and click add order to storefront, and what will end up happening, you take you to the checkout screen, and you could choose the applicable product, go through the checkout process, and then that transaction will then there be applied to the storefront itself.
well, would this also work if say they kept track of all they didn't use our process, which is our tap to pay and using your phone and using Stripe to take all the orders? Could they then just say, for instance, if they used the Square card, and they came back and they wanted to enter all the data into the Camp Master system, could they use that button for that storefront and then just manually put in a cell for, they sold 10 of these, 10 of the 10 of these other ones, 10 of these other ones, and then they can still give credit to all those scouts that worked it from putting in that add order to storefront.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
take that one.
go
Yeah.
ahead, Nick.
Yeah, when they just do say you're like just tracking it through some other system or spreadsheet that you have or on paper, uh, the unit leader comes in here, add order to storefront, and they would just hit during the checkout, obviously add up all the products, make it as simple for yourself. You don't need to enter every single order separately, unless it's like take orders or something, but that's not how storefronts work. You would do cash or other during the checkout instead of
Go
credit
ahead
card.
and can you go
And
ahead
then,
and look at that
yeah,
again real quick?
yep,
And
yep.
just pick like five products or three products. Don't matter which three. And then show the cart. And then you can just adjust those numbers right there. Say you did seven of them. on one. You can manually type it in too if you wanted to. You know, and then you can, like Nathan was saying, use the cash. You'd use, even though use Square or whatever, this would be a cash sale because that's the only way you can do it. So
Yeah, if you hit credit card, it's going to go through Stripe with us. So,
if we do that right now, would we be able to give credit to some scouts?
mhm,
All right, why don't we just go ahead and place
yeah,
that here, and then we'll use that later on
yeah.
to do it, to actually give them credit.
All right. Excuse me. So obviously we just went through the checkout process right here. Now let's go ahead and I might have selected the wrong one. My apologies. Yeah, I did. There we go. So obviously we stepped through an order through the checkout process, and now going back to the storefront orders themselves, or the storefront dashboard, if you go over to the orders tab, this is actually really nice for unit leaders out there. So the orders tab itself will show all orders that are placed against the storefront itself. Obviously, we just had a transaction of $180, and we can find the order right here. Upon clicking that, we'll go right back to the order summary screen, so you can review all the items in here if need
Just
be.
to go through that real quick, what's on that screen? That, I think that would be good, just because it has a few options that people need to know about on that.
Yeah,
Down at,
definitely.
down at the bottom.
Yeah, so we have obviously we have print, so you could print out a picture of the checkout summary. We have order maintenance. So upon clicking on that, let's say right now that order got placed just against the unit itself, but let's say hypothetically Max was the scout that actually chose or actually sold that product, and someone would put it under the wrong user. You can go ahead and just update who actually made the sale itself. Um, it's pretty useful for unit leaders to be able to go in there and kind of change that on the fly if need be. Additionally, if you need to delete or refund the order for any reason, you can just click delete or refund order. There will be a prompt just confirming that you do, in fact, want to delete the order. Additionally, we have add another order. So again, we can just go through the checkout process real quick again. We'll just add a couple things here. View cart, we'll do cash other. And now that is recorded against the storefront as well. So if we go back to storefronts, find our troop, go to the correct storefront, go to orders. Okay, so that might have not updated in time yet. So there may be like a slight buffer period on there just to give everyone's a heads up. But I mean, usually it's almost instantaneous. Just kind of keep in mind. But by the end of the day, whenever you're done with the storefronts, all the orders will be there and recorded against the storefront.
Okay.
Um, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Here, I think
Yeah.
on this one specifically, we have the, is, hopefully I'm looking at the right storefront, 2366. Is that our test one here? Or no?
No,
2458. Okay. It's manual. So the credits, if you go to the credits tab, this is where the unit leader can go in and manually assign them. Otherwise, yeah, within a few minutes, generally, based on those credit methods, you're going to see those distributed. And Alex, if you could go to the info tab, there's a training link up at the top right that in a training video that explains those different credit modes and how they work. So right now that's the reason the credits aren't applying, is because we're in a manual mode. And when we went to the credits tab, we saw that there was $180 in credits to be applied. But we're not seeing it automatically credited. That's what we're seeing right there. But I would just recommend, yeah, go to the info tab again, hit that training video. Well, don't actually click it on this meeting, but the different modes there are explained. And that's what I recommend everybody review and see how you want to run your storefronts.
Yeah, it's just a pretty short video, but it's really detailed enough to understand.
Yeah, and most of those are pretty self-explanatory, but if you need more information on them, then there's that training video at the top right.
I know while we're on this, if somebody did hit the wrong button for that's one of the questions in there right now. If somebody hit the wrong button to take say they took a storefront sale, or say they are supposed to take a take order, but they actually did a storefront sale. How do you change it?
So on the individual orders,
Yeah.
yeah. It- what Alex was just showing, Alex, if you want to drive back into that order that you put in, yeah, there.
Right there.
Order maintenance is what you
Remember
click.
that. Order
Yep,
maintenance.
yep. That'll allow you. Now we see a little bit more here just because Alex is logged as an admin. But on the sale, you could change that over to your take order, um, or whatever other sales that you may have set up.
Right.
Yep.
Just go ahead. Can we go ahead and go to the scout view for the show and sell site?
You mean like the actual checkout process?
Well, no, for the scout dashboard to show the storefront availability.
Sure. So when the scouts actually sign in, under links on the left-hand side, it'll be a few of them down. You'll see the storefront sign up. Upon clicking that, they will be able to see the available storefronts that they are able to sign up for. Right now, we have two, the ones that we had just created. For the sake of the video, we'll do this one, obviously, and then we see some information. We see the location, the date, any notes applicable, and then we will see any of the shifts that the unit leaders actually decide to set up. So by clicking on sign up, this will sign the scout up for that storefront, and I'll lock them in for it. And then on the flip side, back on that storefront dashboard of the screen that we were previously on, we would then see the scout show up under the storefront shifts.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
it's
couple
yeah,
clicks,
and
and
just to note on that too, the previous storefront dashboard that Alex was on when he sent the scout invites out, when they click, they'll receive an email. And when they click on that, it's going to bring them directly to the screen. They don't need to sign in. They get an email, or the parent gets an email. They arrive right here, and they can look at locations and dates and times, and they can just literally hit one button and they're signed up. And then the
Can we
unit
go,
leader knows about
can we
it
go,
and good to go.
can we go back to the dashboard for the scout real quick, just to cover a little bit again, just about the different things on there, specifically when it comes to the three sales modes, I think, and the changes that we made on that, trying to be diligent to make sure they don't make mistakes on which one that they're ordering.
Yeah, we should talk through those for a second. I can go through that. So when a scout is signed up for a storefront, or a parent working a storefront, that's why we have that big green button that says storefront sale with a location and the date right there. That is what you want to click on. That's what you want your scout to click on, or the parent to click on, whoever's running it. Now, as far as just show and sell goes, we'll kind of just dig through these for a second. This will only take maybe 30 seconds. The make a sale button underneath that is basically like what your scout would use as like a wagon sale. If you have the product on you, and that's why it says product on hand. That's what you want to use. If the gold button down there, I'm just gonna skip over the next two because those aren't as important, but the make a unit sale is basically like if you didn't have a storefront set up, but you want the scouts on hand product to account for the entire unit. What's going to happen when they use that button is it's going to go against the unit leader, and the unit leader is going to have to manually give out the credit, and it will show up on their dashboard under their to-do items to handle that. Jumping over to the right with Scout Delivery, the obviously take order. This is where we don't have the product on hand, and we're going to deliver. The Scout is going to deliver this in the future, which is what it says. It isn't going to be shipped directly to that consumer. There's no process like that. This is the unit leader is going to have to put the order into the council. The council is going to order it or get it from somewhere, and then Scout's going to deliver it to the consumer. On the far right, the direct to consumer is the direct to consumer. This is where Camp Masters is going to directly ship like via USPS or some other method to the end consumer. So this is like for people that you can't actually physically deliver the product to. So just kind of break those 3 different tiers down. Hopefully that's helpful. Is that what you're after there, Jason?
Yep. And then
Okay.
a couple little other notes to make real quick. I mean, you definitely put in the Scout Sales Go, and then you got your to do thing. I think that that's important to understand. Let's see, where do you create your Scout bio? I'm trying to
It's gonna be
find.
under, I think it's under links.
Yeah.
Yeah. Promote yourself online. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
yeah. Go ahead.
the very first thing in the link is going to be promote yourself online. So the idea is for the scout to go in there and create a biography about themselves. This bio is going to be included within the direct to consumer orders when they go ahead and try to actually send the email out. Or let me rephrase that. So when they click on the share on social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, X, or email or SMS, that bio is going to be included with these. So they could put, please support me on my scout journey, for instance. Save changes. And then let's say email hypothetically. And let me get my email pulled up on this just to show everybody real quick.
And really, like, we don't really need to pull it up, Alex.
Sure.
The best way to really share this is to hit that copy button for that online link, and then just send that out through whatever media that you choose to whomever you choose. But the important thing is when they click that link, Alex, if you could just copy that and actually just open that link here in the browser so we can see it. Yeah,
Sure.
perfect. So what we see there then is it's an order that's going to be attributed right to that scout, and they're going to see that message that Alex just entered, and they're also going to see their goal progress through that checkout process. So it's I think that's what we were trying to show here, Jason.
Yep. Okay. What's the next thing we want to cover?
Do you guys want to switch over to the unit inventory and how we assign inventory out to individual scouts, storefronts, etc.?
Well, I think that that's part of even one of the questions that Kimberly had, is basically how when people are making sales, like with any of these buttons that you just showed us, how is the inventory adjusted by each one of those? Is there, I think that, that's interest to them, how that inventory gets adjusted.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways that the inventory would be adjusted via any sale that the scout would make. For instance, it's kind of important to note also that the unit leader should be assigning products out to scouts if they're going to be doing individual sales like previous years. But let's say Max went ahead and stepped through a sale and he sold one of the 12-ounce honey roasted peanuts. As soon as that sale's captured, this 7 since he sold, let's say hypothetically 1 quantity of that, this would be deducted to 6, and that should be in real time. Additionally, let's say I'm pretty sure the shared scout credit is deducted from the unit itself. So like, let's say they would have used a shared scout credit on there, it would be deducted from the unit. Just kind of be aware of what inventory is going where, and just keeping track of your scouts inventory. The unit inventory page does show everything in real time. And it's going to be kind of like your best bet to kind of keep track of what and where all your products are at.
So earlier
Yeah.
today, I did sign out some inventory to Max there, so he could take that, door to door, and then if he does bring some back, you can make that adjustment of whatever gets brought back.
Alex, can you click the, yeah, that's the one. So it's real simple. You just choose your from and to. Your unit's your default location. And this is like just to kind of stack on top of what Alex was saying, it's an opt-in system. You don't have to use this to know what your unit inventory is, but if you decide to use it and track per scout, per storefront, it's there for you. It's adaptable. So here, Alex is going to assign some inventory out to Max from the unit. Yep. And then there's also an option in there. Okay, so we see that all updates, and then we can hit, Alex, if you would just do a manage again and just say everything from Max back to the unit, and then just hit move all. It already knows what Max has left based on what he sold and what is left out there, and then just scroll down to say that, yeah. And we're going to see that all come back to the unit.
And one real quick note, this is also where you assign the inventory to a storefront too. So if you could show them that a little bit, make sure you scroll down all the way when you're doing the storefront to where one might be available.
Yeah, and you can also type in these boxes, and it will like search out these locations and storefronts. So you don't have to like, if you're a huge unit and you have a ton of storefronts, you can just locate it that way too.
Can you again, Alex, show them where this is located on their dashboard? Because I mean, they get confused when you look at that black bar on the side sometimes. I think that what Nate told me is to kind of pretend that black bar is not even there a lot of times.
Hit Alex, actually just hit those, go back up and to the top left and hit that little hamburger button. Let's just make that disappear for a minute. Okay.
That way, this
See,
is what
there,
the unit sees.
it disappeared. I think it's under, was it? Oh, this is the council dashboard. We need to go down to the unit dashboard. Yeah, unit inventory, right there. That's where units can get to this. So it's right under your, right under your
I just
links
wanted
there.
to show them that when they're looking at their dashboard, how clean it looks, because again, that other taskbar on the left-hand side makes things look overwhelming, where your
Yeah.
dashboard is so much more clean right now to look at. You just need to know exactly what you're looking at here, trying to make things that are more applicable to you, easy to find. Just go through that real quick. Like what's beside, what else is up? You don't have to read everything, but like the things that are closed, like, yeah. Just
Yeah,
know.
I can talk to those things a little bit. So on the right side, you just have your sale descriptions. And those are all expandable, and you're going to have some links under there that are applicable to the sales. Like placing a unit order for show and sell versus like take order or whatever. On the left-hand side, you have your to-dos. So we talked about earlier, like that gold button that the scout could hit if you didn't have a storefront set up. This is where the unit leader is going to be prompted to distribute the credits for that shared sale. Different things like that. Get back here for a second. And then everything else is pretty self-explanatory. We have the training section, the storefront section, where the unit can sign up for those available storefronts that the council's made available to them. Sales and orders, obviously self-explanatory. That's how you get there. And then unit management's really where everything else is at, where we just talked about unit inventory. So really quick rundown.
Yeah, I think that was good. Again, I just want to make, you know, because everybody in here is really going to be looking at this from a unit perspective and or maybe even a scout perspective, but when they have their own scouts as well. And it's good for the unit leaders to know what their scouts are looking at as well. So I think it was good we looked at both pages. But as you could see, this go back to the scout dashboard real quick and just look at the scout dashboard. You can see they have a lot less than even the unit has on their dashboard as far as things that they need to worry about. You know, there was a question. I'm gonna go ahead and answer it real quick. One Kimberly again said something about, and everybody can ask questions too. By the way, I know I'd mentioned maybe wait until the end, but I've been answering questions as we go along. For the most part, we've been trying to keep up. But if you only have one scout assigned to a location and you've checked out popcorn to them, you can actually just have that parent. You don't, and you're not setting up the storefront cell. You could you could actually just use that orange button. Correct, or not actually. If you set up the storefront cell, they would still be using that storefront button to place their orders. The orange
Yeah,
button,
and that shows up within like the time frame of that specific storefront. That's important to
and,
mention too. It's like it's not going to flood their dashboard.
and we're gonna, and Alex is actually gonna show us the mobile version when you're at, you know, trying to do tap to pay at a storefront, which will kind of show you what it's gonna look like when you get to the storefront, or hopefully you're looking at it before you get to the storefront, so you're not confused, like showing up that day and the first time you used it was when the first customer showed up. So,
Yeah, like it's definitely worth. Yeah, what Alex is about to show us is with the tap to pay, it's definitely worth running through that once as a parent or a unit leader, so you can show it to everybody. Because even if you actually use your own credit card and you go through that process, you can just hit delete refund and it won't charge you. So
and again, if you see when you go into some of these widgets that's on these dashboards, you'll see that training red video in the right hand corner on different widgets that'll help you walk through each uh, what's available to you. Do you want to go ahead and let's answer some of these questions real quick
yeah, I
that
see
we
a bunch.
have, and
Yeah.
then we'll go to the phone tap to pay. I will give Alex some time to get that ready.
Yeah. So Marissa was asking, yeah, well, Alex gets that demo ready. Um, Marissa was asking here if we could get a link to, it looks like, oh, share the Scout signup. So maybe it isn't something that we currently have, but it's a great idea. I like that. I know you guys all have my son's in scoutings too, or in scouting, and they use I forget the name of the app, but
Yeah, we
it's
use all kinds of stuff in other
yeah.
sports
Yeah, it
too. I
wouldn't
mean, there's
yeah,
so
it
many
wouldn't be
different ones.
bad to create like a link that we can just copy from that shift
Yeah, some of them use
setup.
Facebook even that they would put it on their
Yep.
Facebook group. I think if
Making a note right now.
we don't
So
have
that's
that right now.
not hard for us to
So I
do,
mean, the
and
only
it's
yeah, so
not it's a
really
great idea. So
really the only way to share their links is through our dashboard right now. And
yep. No,
which is
I like that.
good in the fact that they would still get that email and they can go in and under that email they can just use that email every single time. But to your point, if there was a way to have it in the shared just for the group, it's a lot easier and cleaner for your group.
Just looking here at, oh, okay, you already got Kimberly's
Well,
link.
we
Okay.
just talked about that one.
Yeah, we got that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rebecca is asking about it. This scheduling is all done within the Camp Masters system. It's not an external like sign up genus or anything like that. You can actually, your council, some councils have set up some storefronts. Obviously, they're not necessarily making them available just yet. And some councils are trying to get some storefronts, and some have had less luck. And then there's also some councils that really want the units to do their own storefronts because I feel like that they have their better relationships with the store managers, and they prefer that those relationships to be kept with between the unit and the store manager. So there's different ways, and if that's the way you have to actually set up your own storefront. So, but otherwise, councils are trying to currently set up storefronts. Camp Masters has been calling lots of stores for several councils trying to get them. I'm just gonna, quickly. Lowe's a lot of times will let us set them up, but then there's also some Lowe's that require units to actually come in and set them up. You need to really check with your council on these types of things because the one thing that you want to remember is you don't want to make these stores mad. And one thing that can happen is the councils have gotten calls from these stores saying, "Hey, we do not want 20 different units calling us, and we have to say no to 19 of them." Or something like that, or we have to say no. They want the councils to be able to manage some of that. So it's really important to know which stores that your council is supposed to manage and which ones they prefer you to go to. So and try to sign up yourself. But there's a lot of places out there that you can do yourself. So, all right. Real quick. Let's see.
I see from Judy here. I don't know if I'm gonna answer this correctly or not. It looks like you don't have to they don't have to have cell phones. You can definitely still as like a unit leader enter those orders if they're gonna take them on paper. But if I'm understanding, also you have other cell phones to use for them.
Well,
Um,
and
it
typically, I mean, you're supposed to have two deep leadership at all these events, is my understanding. And usually, you're going to have two parents with mobile devices that will work for this.
Yep.
Can you explain what devices won't work? Because it's very few, I think, in today's world. I think.
It's really like any Android or iPhone that has the tap or NFC capability at this point is it's gonna work. I mean,
Yeah, it's usually a
unless it's like
really
over
old.
5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, if
So
you're getting to, and I know some people have 5, 6 year old cell phones, so
it does happen.
just
Yeah.
check with that person that's helping at that storefront to see because you're going to have to use an adult's phone. I mean that's the bottom line. There are some kids that you
Yep.
could possibly do, but it's best to use the adults' phones to do the process. So.
Yep. And Karen's question here, I would recommend using one of the automatic uh get your shift set up on those storefronts, get your scouts to sign up for them and let the system do the work for you. Um, Otherwise, yeah, you are going to have to go to every storefront and manually apply the credits.
Will QR codes be different for storefronts and take orders?
Yes.
Yeah, they are, and so every scout even has their own Q code. You want to explain the QR code system a little bit real quick, or do we want to come back to that after this?
Yeah, Alex, I know you're about to demo the app for Tap to Pay, but uh, do you have
Let's
the
just
ability to switch just back to that Scout dashboard real fast?
Sure. Let me.
We can make this like less than 30 seconds. Okay, so the Scout for like show and sell, or you can see under the show and sell section or the Scout delivery section, which is the take orders. Those each have their own QR codes, and anything that like customer does self checkout. So if a Scout's running their own storefront, just like on their own all day, and they don't actually have a storefront like per se set up in the system, just hit that print QR code, and everything that scout or everything that everybody self-checkouts against that QR code is going to get credited automatically towards that scout.
Can you go to print that QR code real quick? I just wanted to see what's on there so they can kind of see what it says.
Yep, there'll be details on there about what that QR code represents. This is like there. I know there's tons of scouts that just go out there and they just set up their own table and they're they're just selling. They're not going through the unit. They're not going through the council to set up a whole storefront and actually negotiate all these things. They're just going out there and putting a table up on the sidewalk or out in front of a store, wherever they, maybe it's their parents' store or whatever. This is what you use this for.
All right.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and go through the how to take orders if you're set up, since Alex has that set up, and then we'll answer some more questions.
Alrighty. So I kind of just want to give a general overview on the Tap to Pay app and the improvements that we made to it. I'll run through this pretty quick. It's available for, like mentioned before, for iPhone and Android. There's no reader necessary. All the transactions are going to be directly taken on the phone using Tap to Pay. There are some prerequisites that everyone needs to be aware of. There's mainly two. So one, your phone has to support NFC, so Tap to Pay in general. I can tell you that if you have I think on the iPhones, it got introduced on the iPhone X, which is about 8 or 9 years old. On Android, you need something within the last 6, 7, 8 years. The majority of Android and iPhones out there, they have it built in. And if you're unsure whether or not your phone actually has that functionality, if you just type in your phone model number, like let's say you have an iPhone 13, you type that in to Google, you'll get an answer pretty quick on there. And if you have any difficulty finding an answer on that, just reach out to Camp Masters and we can give some clarification regarding whether or not that device would work or not. The second main requirement, though, is if you are an iPhone, you have to use the system, like the ordering system that we've been demoing, through Safari on your iPhone. And on Android, you have to use our ordering system through Google Chrome. Any other browsers will not work. So Safari for iPhone, Chrome for Android. I also think it's worth mentioning that this is the second iteration of the Tap to Pay app that we have out. Last year, we had our first iteration, and we noticed throughout the season that people were having a few issues here and in between as far as just using the app, launching the app, getting it to actually work, and people ended up getting frustrated with it and just didn't want to use it in general. So this year we built it from the ground up with basically two pillars in mind: one, reliability, and two, speed. And just to give everyone a kind of perspective, on Android, we're seeing anywhere between a 60 to 70% transaction processing speed increase. And then on iPhone, it's about an 85% transaction speed increase. So it's a substantial improvement from last year. We updated the UI for it, and overall, it's an easier setup. You download the app, you accept the terms of service by scrolling down as soon as you open the app, click accept, and bam, you're off to the races. So let me launch the app on here, and just to kind of show everyone what it looks like. Upon opening the app, the very first time that you open it, you're going to be greeted with a terms of service screen where you have to scroll down and accept the terms of service. You can't use the app unless you accept the TOS. Additionally, you'll have to grant your phone or the app Bluetooth access to your phone. Let's say you go through the initial setup, and when it prompts you to allow Bluetooth access or location, it's mainly the location services you have to enable, but you'll have a pop-up after you accept the terms of service. And let's say you click cancel or no on that pop-up, you'll have another chance throughout the app to actually enable that. And I'll demonstrate that right now. By clicking on get started, you'll be taken to essentially just kind of documentation on how the app works. We have both Android and iOS on here. with a lot of different things to kind of help you throughout the season and also your scouts. How I mentioned previously, if you accidentally click deny on the location services during the initial setup, you can enable it right here. Right now, it did not prompt me to enable location services because I already allowed the app access to that. So if you're unsure, just go to the get started, go to step 2, and just click that button like I just did, and it will give you the answer that you need. You want to make sure that Bluetooth is also enabled on your device. Pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure everyone is confident on turning Bluetooth on their phone. And additionally, on step 4, it just kind of shows the workflow start to finish. One thing I really wanted to do for this live demo, though, is just actually walk through a transaction and what it actually looks like, since this is what you'll be dealing with throughout the season. So I am signed into our demo system right now. The workflow will be exactly the same for when you actually do your storefronts or door-to-door sales or whatever. So we will go to make a sale. So product on hand, and we will select a product. We'll use the 6-pack butter in this instance. We'll click
Real,
on view.
real,
Go
real
ahead.
quick, when you went to make a sale, if you were doing a storefront sale, there would have been a button at the top that said storefront, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And the checkout process is the same. If anyone is familiar with the system already, from the demos that we had previously done during the seminar, it's the exact same workflow. You, instead of clicking on cash or other, you would click on credit card, and that will take you to the checkout screen. And there's going to be a couple different things. Obviously, we have the product and the subtotal, the credit card convenience fee, total amount, and then scrolling down, we have a couple different options. We kind of put this in like an order of operations of what we think is going to be the most streamlined or effective way for you to actually use the system entirely. We highly recommend to seriously use the Tap to Pay app. It is going to make your life a lot easier doing it. Just for the sake of showing the app itself, upon clicking on Tap to Pay, it's going to launch back into the app itself, and we will see it kind of go through a couple different steps. And it takes anywhere between 10 to 12 seconds. I also want to this is a very important note for everyone. The very first transaction that you run through on your Tap to Pay app, it could take up to 1 to 2 minutes. And the reason being is in the background, the app is doing a soft update with Stripe. It's outside of Camp Master's control. Just be aware of that. Don't navigate away from the screen if it is doing the first time setup on there. Additionally, we have it programmed. So if it's the first time setup, it's going to actually say to you, hey, this is the first time setup and this might take a couple minutes. Just please be patient. But from there on out, on average, it's on Androids 10 to 15 seconds. On iPhones, it's anywhere between 8 to 10 seconds from the time you click the tap to pay button from the main ordering system. Eventually, like I said, 10 to 15 seconds later, it'll bring up this page right here, and then you would just tap the credit card, another phone, any tap to pay device would just be placed right there. It'll capture the payment, and then it will take you back to the order summary screen. And that literally is the workflow. It should take on average, start to finish, 10 to 15 seconds for each iteration of the time that you need to use the app.
And a couple questions came up while we are doing it. Number one, when you one was, can we follow along? And you should be, if you're able to get into your dashboard right now, you should be able to view this on your phone.
Only if they have an active sale.
Okay, yeah. So no, they can't.
So no.
Yeah, that's right. There's
Yeah.
very few councils that have an active sale right now. We actually had we had 2 councils place their order just now. They're not going to get it for a while, but they went ahead and placed an order with us. So you're not going to be able to see it until the sale actually starts. Thanks for that. I was thinking I can see it.
We can, yeah, and we can show
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but if they don't have an active sale in their console, they can't see what we're seeing.
Yeah, and then the other question, real quick, was the receipt part of it. Number one, they wanted to know about like if they wanted printed receipts. Well, I know this is years back. There was receipt books that like I know units had where they just would hand a receipt to a customer, saying that they supported it and they wrote that amount on there. But we don't have a paper receipt. There's no way to give them a paper receipt. So
Yeah,
they,
yeah, and I had typed an answer out to that one too. It's if on that order summary screen that Alex was just on a few seconds ago, there's a print button. So if for some reason you're connected to a device that's connected to a printer, go for it. You're more than welcome.
I
But
guess you can't bring a printer and set it on a table and
yeah,
be giving them out.
that is that it's just like printing out a web page essentially is what that does. So, but it is there. So
Okay. Got some questions, and this, if they want an email, we just explained that there is
yep.
there is a spot you type in their email address. Can you show them that real quick where that is?
Alex, can you just restart another order? Um, yeah, just right before we go into the payment part, I think.
Yeah, and I
If
know there was a question
right there.
about.
Yeah, so yeah, if they and you don't even have to put the name, but if you just put their email in there, or if they're doing like customer self checkout, they can also put their email in and they will get a receipt as long as they put their email in.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we just have it's like any other checkout process. You just have to get that email address before we finish it. So,
And I will say, if you want to, if yeah, in my personal opinion, if you can get a name or something like that or an email address, that's great. Because if you do have an issue with an order later or something, they call you and you can look it up a lot easier if you have somebody's name or email address.
mhm.
Um, because it just is easier. But I know most people don't use it, so
It does slow down the process, but
yeah.
yeah, it's a personal preference thing.
All right. Well, I know this is scheduled for an hour. With that, we are going to try to have some more um, trainings, and we're also going to, your councils, we're going to try to get a lot of information to the councils. We're going to try to make this available. Again, I would recommend highly in your dashboard looking at the YouTube videos and familiarizing yourself with some of those things because they're going to help answer a lot of your questions. But your counsel is there to help. If they can't get the answer, we can get it for them. So just ask them a question. We'll be able to help them if they don't have the answer. So,
Yep.
and I want to thank Alex and Nate a lot for coming tonight, and I want to thank everybody else for showing up here and giving their time this evening. Good luck on your sale this year.
Yeah. Thanks everybody.
Thanks, everybody.